Broadway Balances America, brought to you by Broadway across America, bringing the best of Broadway to a city near you.
It's time now for Broadway Balances America, our series that takes you behind the scenes of some of the most beloved Broadway musicals as they appear across the country in your local theaters.
Today, Anastasia, a sweeping story that follows Anya, a brave young woman who set out to find the story of her past. Along the way, she meets a series of colorful characters as she learns who she really is and who she could be.
Amber Milt takes us back in time to see how a street urchin makes a royal transformation.
Thanks, ladies. Inspired by those beloved films, Anastasia will transport you from the twilight of the Russian Empire to the glamour of Paris in the 1920s as one brave young woman sets out to learn about her past. It is a spectacular new musical about discovering who you are and defining who you're meant to be. This sweeping new Broadway production has audiences believing in the power of home, love, and family, something that Broadway's Anya, Christy Altamar, is excited to share with Lila Coogan as she prepares to play Anya on tour.
As you wear this crown, which I've gotten to wear for the last year, never forget that this story means so much to so many people. I know that you're just going to be the light for them and the love for them and the excitement for them as they walk into the theater night after night and get to sit down and experience this show.
With stunning backdrops, dazzling costumes, and a soaring score, Anastasia brings to life the story of Anya, who may or may not be Russian royalty Anastasia. Anya's not your typical princess, so tell us a little bit about her story.
Yeah, so she's rebellious. She comes from a place where women aren't supposed to be speaking up and they're kind of just supposed to follow along, and she does not do that. She's headstrong and she tells it like it is and says what she wants. It's an adventure about a young girl trying to find her place in the world and ultimately who she is.
Is this relatable to you, especially at this age?
It's super relatable, I think, to any young adult or young woman like trying to find their place. Especially to me, this is, you know, a big change in my life, so it's gonna be cool finding my footing and figuring out like where I fit in.
The exquisitely designed costumes help transport audiences from the streets of St. Petersburg to Paris in the 1920s. So the costumes in this are just jaw-dropping, and not only do they span different time periods, but also different continents.
The tricks that we employ as costume designers are color palette, silhouette, cheating within the silhouette to make it appealing to the modern eye. An example of employing color palette is I use famous paintings. In the Paris ballet scene, I use Gustav Klimt's paintings. So now you have the sea of gold and brown, and from that you have Anastasia arriving, making a jaw-dropping appearance in her blue dress, so she will completely stand out in color and in silhouette within the world. The transformation for Anastasia, we go from a more covered, wintry silhouette that is a little more dowdy and homely into something very rich and very confident. And I think the pinnacle for me of that is when she arrives in Paris in her suit.
So when people come to see this show, your artwork, what do you want them to come away feeling?
I want them to feel empowered. I want them to come away with feeling like they can do anything, just like this powerful woman in the story.
The costumes are complemented by the beautiful background.
With the LED screens, which we embedded not only on the back wall, but in the side turntables, it really gives a vast variety of looks. This show couldn't have happened 2 years ago. The technology's finally caught up to where we can really manipulate it and integrate it.
While the animated movie had memorable melodies, composers Stephen Flaherty and Lynn Ahrens expanded the score with several new songs just for the stage.
In the musical score, in creating it and readapting it for the stage, there are certain characters, certain plot lines that we couldn't use in this particular version. It was just part of my fun that I wanted to take small sections of characters and songs that we had lost and repurpose them and weave them into the score proper.
It's about, you know, finding your home, falling in love, and discovering who your family is. Making sure it all fits, we went behind the scenes to see how the pieces are put together as Lila received final adjustments at Eric Winterling's costume studio.
So this is Anastasia's first look, and it's meant to look, well, it will eventually look the most distressed and street urchin-like.
As for that iconic blue gown,
we are making her dress suit her as best we can.
And I was just remarking that Eric's work looks incredible up close and on stage, and I think that's one of the great things about Eric's work is that they're clothes. They're not just costumes. You know, I wanted fabric that moved, so there's an extra floaty layer here, and the crystal beads are something that was our invention here for Broadway.
I feel like a princess, which is amazing.
And what romance is complete without an equal match for this princess? Zach Adkins, Broadway's Dmitry, sat down with Lila to offer advice and discuss Anya's journey.
These parts that we play, Dmitry and Anya, are some of the hardest singing parts on Broadway right now, or on tour right now. They literally take up all of your energy every single night. She'll be traveling via plane or via bus to a new city, and it really takes away that much-needed relaxation time.
I think Dmitry teaches Anya to be a little bit more patient, because I think she just wants to go, 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 and sometimes it is important to evaluate.
Yeah. I think it's really interesting, like from the moment Dmitry and Anya meet on stage, they push each other's buttons in a way they probably have never experienced before. They're very quick to fight with each other, and that's very much the romantic part of their relationship too, is the fighting.
Yeah.
And so you get to see that, and they have these weird connections, but it all comes from a place of, I don't really like you, but I like you a lot.
Yeah.
And that's always like kind of the playfulness that goes on stage.
Fans of the show, known as Fanastasias, truly love the musical.
The show seems to strike a chord with a lot of young people who are on a journey to figure out who they are. Not necessarily specifically Anya's journey, but a journey into womanhood or manhood or adulthood as themselves, and they come and see our show and they're like, okay, I recognize these people who are just trying to figure out their own journey to find who they are.
Now audiences across the country and soon around the world will be entering the theater and journeying to the past.
I want them to feel determined, and I think I want them to feel like they can do anything that they put their mind to.
Yeah, I think I would want the audience to take away that everybody's on their own journey, and there's no right way to take that journey, and it's going to pull you in 1,000 different directions, but, you know, being true to yourself and remembering what made you who you are to start with is what's going to get you to the end of that journey.
The North American tour of Anastasia is coming soon to a theater near you. Check out Broadway Across America, Broadway Balances America, or you can always go to our website, thebalancingact.com, for all the show information, tour dates, and more.